Hi, good afternoon. My name is Debbie and I'm from Seize Your Vision Life Coaching, which is based in Boksburg, Gauteng in South Africa. Today's topic is self-acceptance. I'll be explaining a little bit about why we are so self-judgmental, and that's the reason why we are not self-accepting. And I'll also be sharing a couple of tips on how to learn to be more self-accepting. So let's first look at the word self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is when we accept not only our positive, but our negative attributes as well, and both non-judgmentally. That is the most important part here. It's also a realistic appraisal of not only your skills and talents, but of your worth too. And this helps to build our self-esteem as well as our self-confidence. We all know that it's so much easier to see the good in others before we actually see the good in ourselves. And also at times when we are paid a compliment, sometimes we may feel very uncomfortable. We may even feel like squirming in our skin. And this is because of our own self-judgments. So let's look at where these self-judgments come from. The first one is from criticism. And this criticism generally has come from our parents or from our carers for when we were small. Up until the age of 8 years old, we really do not have a clear sense of self. And we actually see ourselves as our parents or our carers see us. So for instance, if a parent is always saying, "Stop that, you silly," or "Don't do that, you stupid," that child is going to see themselves as being silly or as being stupid. Another example could be if a child runs excitedly up to their parent and wants to show them their beautiful picture that they've made and go, "Look, Mom, look what I've made. Look what I've done." And that parent turns around and goes, "No, can't look at that now, I'm busy." If that continually happens, that child is going to feel that they're not valued, that they're not cared about, that perhaps they're not even loved. So those are things that we need to think about. And also those criticisms can actually come from our siblings. And then when we go to school, they can come from our school friends, can come even from teachers, from our colleagues when we go to work, as well as our managers. The second one is sometimes we actually zoom in on a negative attribute of ourselves, something that we really don't like. And because we keep zooming in on it and we've got it under the microscope, we then internalize it and it turns into an actual belief, and that's what we start to believe in ourselves. Also, it can come from advertising, the way things are advertised. And also, it comes from comparing. Often you find in society today, there is so much comparison that goes on, and this is where it can stem from. It can also stem from societal beliefs as well as social beliefs. I know that, for instance, in some cultures here, that if a woman is voluptuous, she is seen as accepted. Whereas in other areas, it's absolutely the reverse. So these are where these judgments are actually started from and where they're initiated from. So now, how do we actually learn to become more self-accepting? The first step is to honor where you are now. The second step is to forgive yourself for not knowing what you know now. And that is, it's okay to accept yourself and it's okay to learn how to be self-accepting. Third thing is you need to look at your self-talk. What are you actually saying to yourself and how are you saying it? Are you always putting yourself down? Or are you saying the same sentence over and over again? For example, "I'm not worthy, I'm not loved." Because those you can actually change. We also need to question ourselves. We need to question why we are thinking those things about ourselves. And how do we get to the why? We need to ask ourselves, where is it coming from? Was it perhaps said by a parent? In what circumstances was it said in? Was it said in anger? Then perhaps it really wasn't meant. So we need to dig deep and we need to ask ourselves those questions. Once we understand where it is coming from, and we can actually see that it really is not a fact, that it's just a thought or a belief, then we can realize that we can change it, because we can change our thoughts and we can change our beliefs. And then we need to validate our own okayness. Every single one of us is made up of positive and negative attributes. That's what makes us human. And that is how we are in the whole. We are okay holistically. So we need to stop zooming in on and putting under the microscope those negative thoughts and beliefs about ourselves. And then another tip that I would like to share with you is to imagine yourself as a child who's not feeling accepted. What would you do? And what would you say to you as that child? Embrace that child, nurture that child, and in doing so, you will actually be able to help yourself to be more self-accepting. I hope these tips have helped you, and I hope you enjoy your day, and we will chat soon. Bye for now.